All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the AI plus Data Mastery Show. I'm your host, Jason Reno. Thank you again for being here. Today, we have an amazing guest, Andrew Al-nsley. Andrew is kind of like a guide, and I mean, I engage with a lot of his content too, but he's like a guide for people who want to use AI and smart tools to grow their business, and especially B2B businesses. He helps companies show up higher on Google and searches and get more customers and make their marketing basically just work faster and overall better, for lack of a better term, for the non-techie people out there. He's an AI consultant and Get AI strategy. He also hosts and runs two AI and coding communities, which are phenomenal. He said over 400 businesses engaged with you. And what I like about you and what I like about the content is you just make it simple, like not scary and confusing, where a non-techie person, even like myself, can engage with the content and understand what's going on. So I'm excited to have you on the show. And without further ado, welcome to the show, Andrew. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Jason. It's good to be here.
Wonderful. Give us the kind of the quick nitty gritty background. I mean, I know you were marketing. We worked together on a project years ago when you were, I believe, doing SEO. So, like, kind of what quick background, and though it grabbed you, what about AI grabbed you, and
Why am I
and
here?
didn't let you go, and what bring us up to speed with what you got going on today?
Yeah. So I'll give the 60-second version. If you have questions about it, we can go into it. I find podcasts, people don't want too much of backstory. I'll say this. I got into the hyper technical side of SEO. So I was reading all the patents. I became a search engine land author. I actually wrote, they ranked one of my articles top 3 for all of 2024, I believe. And anyway, I really got nerdy with it. What that allowed for me was a quick and easy transition. Well, not easy. It was quicker, though. It was a quicker transition to be able to go into AI, because I was already reading about natural language processing and machine learning, and to understand what Google wants, for businesses to rank, you have to understand AI. And to understand, I've gotten 7 figures from just Facebook as like a organic marketing channel for myself. And to understand Facebook, you also need to understand algorithms. It's so much of everything. If you want to be really good at the top, it's algorithms. So I pivoted in November 2022, the end of it. GPT-3 was announced. I was already using GPT-2, and it was garbage. And GPT-3 was so game-changing. I told my wife immediately when I saw it. It was like an hour after the announcement. I said, my whole career is going to change. I'm sorry. I have to do this. I need to spend the next couple of years where like I just focus entirely on this. I'm going to ditch my old world and just spend it all on AI. So I did. I launched a SaaS in AI. I've done multiple groups now where I teach people AI. I've prompted for thousands of hours now, and I think I've averaged about 8 hours a day, 6 days a week for about 3 years now, using AI.
Wow. Gotcha. So when you said you went all in, I mean, you literally went all in. Told the wife, told the family, told everybody. I mean, like, hey, don't bother me. Don't ask me a question about anything else.
I got to do it. What I tell people is this. I was like, my dad was a serial entrepreneur, and I just heard entrepreneurial stories. And I was really, even at age 10, I was jealous of the .com boom. I was like, damn it, I was only 10 years old. And I missed the .com boom, like I didn't get to be in my prime during this like moment. And that moment, if you're in your prime, those are the billionaires now. And I said, if that ever happens again, I'm not going to miss it. And so I'm in my prime, and AI is here, and it is as big or bigger. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to miss it.
I was one of the past episodes a few weeks ago. We had a gentleman, Robert Winter, who he's an angel investor now. He just runs his own family office. But he was comparing AI, like he's like, forget the .com boom. That's a little blip in terms of, he went all the way back to the printing press. He's like, think of what the printing press did for the world. Like literally churches expanded, businesses expanded, like information, anything, you could control the information if you can control the printing press. He goes, AI is is equally big to that, or equally will make the same or bigger impact than the printing press. He goes, forget the .com. So
I
that
agree.
to your point, it's going to be huge, and it's
Yeah.
trillions and trillions of dollars are going to change hands, and it's
Mhm.
not so much like you have to invent the next AI tool,
Yeah.
but as a business, you need to be taking it seriously and
Mhm.
applying it, and aligning yourself with professionals who know what they're doing, so it can be applied properly, and not just like we touched about it briefly on the beginning of the call. But it's not just this plug and play type of, hey, let's throw a band-aid on a bullet hole to fix this small problem. But are you looking at the big picture? Are you looking at what are the immediate problems? What's the 12-month roadmap? What can we do now? What do we need to be doing? And put on the project plan, so to speak. But
Yeah.
I noticed in one of your communities, my partner Alvin and at Data Accelerator, we've talked about omni-channel presence. But can you walk us a little bit through about, like, in your opinion, the importance of creating that omni-channel presence even within the B2B space?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, specifically within the B2B space, because
Especially in the
yeah,
B2B
I was going to
space.
say more, especially in the B2B space, where we're traditionally working with B2B businesses where it's, oh yeah, we send out some emails and I have a person picking up the phone and doing some sales calls when they get around to it. But what's the importance of having that omni-channel presence?
Yeah. Let me just say that omnichannel, it's both important and not important depending on the phase you're in and the situation that you're in your business. I see a lot of people fumble their business and their marketing because they know omnichannel is the way. It is. But ultimately, it's like saying, well, my goal is to bench 400 pounds. Well, don't start there. You got to do other things first. And if you're just starting to work out, you need to actually not even do like half of the suggested things for weightlifting. It's really just about showing up, getting the reps in. It's all about the phases. So I'll say this: if you're not in a bunch of channels and you're barely in one, or you're like in one or two, and those channels aren't even super successful, I would still start there where you need to optimize those channels better and make better use of them, because omnichannel is just going to make the mess messier. It's omnichannel is complex. It's a lot of data, and it's not something to throw into the mix unless you're ready. So that said, I'll say this.
I think that's really good advice, because you try to
Oh,
do too much too fast, and it's yeah, 100%. I think that's great advice.
yeah, I like what Alex Hormozy says, where I think he said something along the lines of like, until you're making $1 million in a channel, don't try to break out into another channel, because I guarantee you can make about $1 million off of it. If you're not, what's the point? There are some exceptions, but I like that piece of advice. So the thing I'll say from an SEO perspective is there's actually two kinds of omnichannel. I'd say every business should be omnichannel if it's the SEO version. SEO version means you're not qualifying omnichannel by leads. It's actually more of an algorithm play, right? You just want to show up on multiple platforms. You want to create content that is like, all right, I have this blog. Let's turn it into an infographic. And distribute it. Let's make a video. Let's post it on socials. All that kind of stuff. That's a ranking factor, and it's a part of your brand. So that's important. But you're never going to get a business lead, or very rarely, just by doing that. It just doesn't really happen. I've seen it with so many businesses. You got to really be intentional. But for the leads, I think no matter what, choose at least one channel for organic social. You should be doing SEO bare minimum. It's so easy to do SEO now, at least like a bare minimum. I'd say for those that are trying to do that, hey, just ICP, focus in on that, create content around that, stop focusing on keywords. And then you should definitely be in search with Google, and then you should have at least one paid social platform that you're advertising on. Definitely do two. No matter what kind of advertising you're doing, you should always do two, because search is they're actively searching. And with Facebook or whatever else, you're showing up and being top of mind, doing that optimization where, just by saying it a bunch, being there a bunch, they just start to get this impression of you so that you convert better across the board.
Yeah, I agree. We talked about that on a previous episode where, especially with the B2B businesses, you're looking at a longer buy cycle. I
Yeah.
mean, oftentimes a month, 3 months, 6 months, maybe a full year, depending on. And then once you have that data, now you have the ability to control the narrative,
Hmm.
stay in front of them on multiple platforms where you can start inserting client testimonials, trust building marketing assets to, like I said, control that narrative and stay in front of them. And if it's a 6 month buying cycle, that's 180 days. You should be able to find them on one channel per day and make one impression or 180 impressions from them outside of the normal communication. Here's the proposal, that type of stuff. But
Yeah.
go find them within programmatic marketing, go find them on social media, and make a couple hundred impressions during that buy cycle. And then even furthermore, find everybody in that. If you're selling into an IT department, let's find everybody in that IT department and make 200 impressions. So now when somebody goes, oh yeah, we're working with XYZ business, oh really, yeah, I've seen some stuff on them, I've watched their videos, oh, it's just that, kind of guilty by association and
Yep.
build trust and credibility, right?
Hmm.
Which is obviously like an account-based marketing when you're selling into larger companies. So there's so
Yep.
much you can do there to create that omni-channel presence.
Yep.
You had mentioned, I know you incorporate AI into your SEO. So is
Mhm.
that can you talk a little bit more about that in terms of like, is it AI spinning up the content? Is it then creating the graphics and creating the
Mhm.
videos? I mean, there's,
Yeah,
it's
there's a whole
all
bunch.
of that at a large scale.
Yeah, so I'd say I'll start with the universal thing of what everyone should be doing is there's stuff that anyone in the corporate world you should just be doing. If you are not using AI for research on a daily basis, you're sleeping, man. That's one of the biggest impactful things I've experienced is the research. Because here's what it does. Before you even use AI for anything else, let's say you still are manual with everything. Well, the research is helpful for ICP, for your buyer persona stuff, for understanding what kinds of landing pages you need, for understanding the questions you need to answer. You get to understand, once you use AI to research this whole thing, you can understand the kind of assets, like lead gen assets you need to create. You can understand for your sales team what objections that people have. And I built a tool where it creates about 100 different searches on its own and fetches all of the content, scrapes it, synthesizes it, filters through an ICP framework I created. And then now I've got this whole giant list, about 4,000 words, highly optimized of exactly what you need to be doing. That's the biggest thing because to be honest, the thing that I was most surprised by, I've worked with billion-dollar companies that are publicly traded. I've worked with small companies that are $1 million ARR, and it is wild how few people are actually doing the whole buyer persona thing and doing it well. I think that's why I have my first school group that I created was all about that. I didn't realize how impactful it would be for people. I had so many good testimonials on that, but that's number one: AI research and use it to fetch that information. Then number two, I'd say probably lead asset creation. I love it for that, and content creation of any form. You have a couple different tools. I'd say a place to start, because I don't want to spend too long unless you ask specific questions on it. Weavy.ai. What I really like is you find one tool, and then it should be a tool that promotes workflows and something that's kind of repeated, where it's not just a cool tool with amazing AI and output. Like Midjourney has amazing images, but there isn't a workflow tool to it. What I want is a tool that can reverse engineer 5 example Facebook ads, also give it 5 examples of my product or something, and then synthesize to create some sort of brief, break things out automatically to create some prompts, and then generate assets, in mass. And I can test things out that way. That's the kind of stuff I like. And you can try, all right, well, what video platform works best? What image platform works best? Okay, part of that workflow is 5 models of images, 5 models of videos. See what works and just generate all of them all in one go. Might as well. So that's what I mean by the workflow. So that kind of thing for a lot of businesses, I'd say you should start investing a lot into the creative, literally like image, video type stuff. That's the biggest impact I see right now for business success is your creative. And it happened very quick. I don't know if you've seen this, but AI images, if you're just average with it, it's like the opposite of your intended effect. It actually like makes people not like you. And if your audience is under the age of 50, you better be damn good at it if you're going to use AI. If it's over 50, it doesn't matter at all. People don't even know. You could just put in a VO3 random normal prompt and whatever. But yeah, it's very fast where people will lose trust and be disgusted by you if you're terrible and doing AI slop.
Yeah, that's a good point, especially with these like B2B businesses that either don't have a lot of content, don't have time to produce it, just don't want to produce it or deal with it. There's kind of no excuse now. There's ways to produce quality content on a consistent basis. But to your point, when you're mentioning workflow, it's okay. Does it just solve this problem right now today, or does it solve a problem that needs to be solved every day that can be solved across multiple platforms where we can duplicate it and scale? And I think that's the coolest thing with AI. But that's also possibly sometimes the biggest downfall is if you don't take your time and research a software, research a product, and you just jump in and then you get stuck with it, and then unplugging it and plugging it back in is could be a huge pain in the what.
Very true. Yeah, it's I think it's kind of just shocking how many people. There's two sides of it. There's the people that like put their head down in the sand. They're like, I don't care. AI is not good enough, and they see an output, they try it, and they're like, it's bad. As if anything that anyone does off the rip, it ignores the whole skill factor. There's still a skill factor with AI. And there's those people. And then there's the people that are just, they're just okay with mediocrity. I hate that.
Yeah.
Like, that's the majority of everybody. It's very rare. You're still in a tiny minority if you're actually skilled at AI. So I encourage anyone listening, if you want to get skilled in AI, you're not late. There's lots of people using it. Hardly anyone's doing it right.
Well, and it's not even that you have to get so much skilled in it, but you just have to find somebody you trust that's willing to get skilled in it, and then be open-minded to use it and trust and fail, and that type of stuff. But as a business owner, what would you tell somebody if a business owner that you're talking to? It's like, how do I judge the ROI if I'm going to start implementing AI over the next 12 months and we come up with the plan? What are some kind of good benchmarks, or what are things, especially with the longer buyer cycle with the B2B? Let's assume it's a 3 to 6 month buy cycle. How can you tell that what you're doing as an AI consultant is successful, and what are some key metrics that you kind of look for to gauge the success on? And I know every business is unique, so maybe just some general key points.
Yeah, I always tell people to start with assess the current subscriptions you have. It's not necessary. It depends on the business. A lot of businesses have $1 million plus on their subscriptions, depending on the size. Then a lot of them have, per year. I'm sure some per month too. But I ran PR for this. They're like $100 million company, and I ran PR for them, and they had. Just my one PR tool was $60,000 a year, I think. So you can get a lot of stuff that starts adding up. So the ROI is, can the AI replace this? How much does it cost? Do we project it to cost? What's the budget for that? And when will we get the ROI? I feel like that's a lower ROI one, replacing your tools, but it's the easiest to see an ROI in my opinion. So that's one. In general, I'm aiming for you should get an ROI within 3 to 6 months. And if you're replacing entire roles, I guess that's an easy one. Heck, this is the whole thing with like a account. we'll call it like a roofing business. There's so many home service businesses that I know this is this is more of a B2C one. It's just a good example. Is so many businesses on average are losing like $1,200 per day or something like that, just on them not getting to calls quick enough. So just introducing an AI voice agent. Studies show 90% of the audience doesn't even know it's AI. So it's like, okay,
but I would say 90% just don't care. It's like,
they don't care.
You know, somebody's picking up the phone, they're giving me the information that I want.
Yeah.
You know, and then that 10% that do care and want a human, then okay, that the AI books a callback time or transfers them to a human or whatever you want them to do from there. But that's
exactly right.
There's no reason that your business should ever miss a call or ever lose the speed to lead game. None
ever. And like most businesses that are that kind of like a service business, it is wild. I'd say that I can't say the majority fail because of it, but I'll say a large chunk of businesses are failing to grow or just go out of business because they suck at that. And there's no excuse anymore because we have technology for it. The follow-up game too, my gosh, that is one where it's like, all right, it is so hard. Everyone here who's listening knows how hard it is to find a good salesperson. A lot of entrepreneurs were salespeople and they have a hard time letting go because, someone's 1/5 as good as them. Well, okay, it sucks, But so much of the game now is and it was before, it's follow-up. And AI makes it so much easier. I'd say that what's happening right now is too many people they're putting all this money into just the cold outreach itself and not the follow-up. I would say cold outreach with AI is really hard to make work well. You just very nuanced. There's some tools to do it. There's some strategies, but ultimately, if you've already done the work of like having that initial connection, then using AI to make sure that reminders are sent, text messages are sent, emails are sent, all sorts of stuff. And you can get super fancy with it. That's a huge one. You'll see your ROI like within a month. If you set all that stuff up, just see how many more appointments you're getting, what that percentage from like, let's say for the average B2B, there might be three to four different like sections of like that whole buying cycle where we've had this meeting, now they're here. See what that percentage is of like going from step one A to Z, and each step is going to increase if you have a good follow-up game.
Yeah, I agree. There's no reason to not be following up. And with the cold outreach, it's tricky. We've talked about this previously on the show, but where does that kind of mass AI SDR type of outreach then turn into that human connection? If we can grab their attention, get them to click on an email, open an email, visit a website, fill out a form, that human does need to come in and establish that relationship, especially with large ticket B2B sales, needs to come in and establish that relationship. You can't presume the AI is going to take it any further.
Yep.
But that once that relationship's established, your additional kind of value adds, hey, automations. Well, hey, check out what this client just said about working with us. Here's their Google review. Hey, I just found a recent article that came out last week within this industry. How does this affect you? Would love to get your feedback. The AI sends out and sends that initial response, but once that person responses and engages, now when that human comes in, and that's where I think a lot of B2B businesses fail is they either rely too much on one or the other. They're like, oh, it's all human touch. We can't incorporate AI. This is old school business. Or they're like, we want AI to do everything. And it's like, no, you need to find, if that pendulum's going like this back and forth, you need to find where, is it 60% human touch, 40% AI, 70-30, but every company has that, perfect balance. And that's where they need to start testing and finding it out and figuring out what's going to work and what's not working. But low hanging fruits, the voice AI receptionist and things of that nature. It's like, you hire either answering services or human beings and, 24/7 and bathroom breaks and all that fun stuff. It's, for a fraction of the cost, never miss a call again.
Oh yeah. And I think that So many people are doing the shotgun approach, but when I said that the number one tool to get with AI is research, the sniper approach is enabled when you have, there's so many different reasons for research, but imagine now you have 100 people per week that you're trying to pull in, and you're trying to do a really good job of outreach, where you just want to experiment. What does it look like having 3 months where that's the goal, where you try that instead? See, you might think email is worthless now. Maybe. Could be bad data, could be that it's too broad, but imagine now you have everything about the person and their company, and like your expert, whoever your best salesperson is, oftentimes the founder or a CEO. There's lots of them that are salesy. I would say, all right, what are the things that you would want to extract if you could get any data? What would you want to see about this without being creepy? Something that's like publicly available. Then you could just extract it, and then now you have it in your little card, whatever your CRM is. Like now, when you're doing outreach, great, so much better. So I'd say that's a big one.
Yeah, to get on a call with somebody and to start a relationship or to start that sales process, right? And not have, I mean, you can go right into AI, put in their LinkedIn URL, put in their Facebook URL if you can find it, put in their company website, and literally prompt it, hey, give me all the information, give me a bio, give me a one pager on this person. I do it before guests get on the show here. It's give me a one pager, tell me what everything I should know about them, give me some questions to ask that are steered towards B2B, like, hey, here's everything I want to accomplish on this show, here's my guest, kind of dummy proof it for me so I don't sound stupid or ask the wrong thing, or that type of stuff. But it's so much easier. And same thing with even getting on discovery calls before you meet with the client. But then what I tell people is, like, go a little bit deeper. Don't just, hey, scan LinkedIn and scan his website and give me a bio, but scan the internet and find 5 news articles related to this story, or give me the top 5 issues arising with this niches. How does the political environment affect this particular business? Ask it more questions. Yeah. Now, when you get on the call with this person, you're not sitting there like, hey, I do this and I sell this and I'm so great, and just throwing up your offer. But get to know them, build that relationship, and make them feel like, damn, this guy's a industrial cleaning solutions expert, and
you should be.
Like, yeah, exactly. And it's just like, yeah, exactly. And anything I don't know, I can have at my fingertips in about 3.7 seconds or less. So it's but yeah, there's no reason to not go into a business meeting without being an expert in whatever particular topic it is.
Yeah.
In terms of like B2B businesses, where have you seen, outside of the obvious, where it's okay, an AI SDR and voice AI, where have been some kind of unique situations where using AI to maybe scan documents and replace somebody handwriting things or taking orders, or I don't know, that might be kind of simple, but have you had any kind of like, hey, I didn't even
manufacturing think though, dude?
Yeah, like manufacturing. One guy we met with on the show, he was saying that he does like bag tags and name tags, and they have problems with spellings within like professional sports, or people, the word Aiden could be spelled AIDEN or AIDYN, or all these different variations. But he's looking for like an AI tool to scan lists of names and then try to reference them online and confirm spelling, like unique things like that. What have you seen?
Man, I've seen a AI tool that scans. It's a mixture of hard software and AI, but it scans the interior of a building and then creates the proposals and like really hyper accurate. It's hyper accurate sales proposals based on, okay, I
like
know
for a contractor or
for any sort of contractor at all. Commercial is what I've seen it in. I haven't seen it for residential, but yeah, there's that kind of thing is huge. Low hanging fruit. My gosh, the PDF OCR capabilities of AI, where it can just read, it can read PDFs and register images and just like really do just about any of that sort of admin stuff. So much admin stuff can be done. So,
yeah, I was going to say these
wild.
businesses don't realize the amount of, just admin or pushing data from one software to the next software, not having to cut and paste or download this CSV file and then I have to upload it over here. But then when I upload it, it doesn't get mapped correctly. So then I got to go do this. And it's just like, you hear about all these stories and you're just like, oh my gosh, even just simple, softwares that have been around forever, like a Make or Zapier, a lot of these, businesses just don't even realize what's out there and what's capable and how, simpler life can be.
So much simpler. I'd say some of the best things that it's not a huge ROI, but quality of life. I don't know a single person that just likes to be in their email inbox or like Slack. There's AI for that, man. I have an AI on my phone. It texts me, reads my emails. I can set up any automation that connects to my calendar or email, and it will give me a rundown in the morning, rundown at night. So was it 8:30 in the morning, 4:30 at night? Tells me what should be responded to, because I spend the first 30 minutes of my day with email or with comms, and the last 30 minutes with comms. I basically ignore everybody in that phase. So I have meetings, and then I just need to get deep work done. And anyway, I'd say that's a big one. And then I have another AI that responds and drafts the emails for me. I can also use this to draft it, but yeah. And then
it gives you a draft. All you have to do is you just proofread it and hit send.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. There's stuff like that. There's the meeting transcripts. Being able to, this one's a big one, is you get the transcript, you analyze it there's a whole entire SaaS around this, but you can actually just build it yourself. If you're like a director of sales or VP, you should have the skills to do this. It's basically just coaching. So you're asking the right questions. You take a transcript. You can even, so I have a tool where I take YouTube videos. It's for organic, but you could easily apply this to a Zoom meeting. You could look at the energy levels and whether you were talking too much, whether like anything. It could analyze all of that and coach your team. So there's a huge industry just around that's developing. And I'd say it's massive. Early studies are showing huge improvements on sales. So that's a big one. We've already touched the front of house. We touched the sales. I just feel like sales is the biggest one. Sales is huge. It's there's so many things. Admin work, automations, little things, moving data around. You know how tech adoption is super hard with people? There's all these cool tools. A business might subscribe to this tool and no one uses it, or very few people use it. Well, you can increase tech adoption by just automating simple stuff, by just distributing it more widely. Maybe someone wants to interact more in Slack or their email or this CRM or something. Great. Let them interact in Slack and then push it into the CRM. Let them be able to get what they need from the CRM from within Slack. Just creating more bi-directional sort of flows. That's a big one. Just for tech adoption, not a huge ROI. It's just a challenge. My first job, aside from sales, after I got out of sales, I became a tech strategist, and I quickly found out that it wasn't about finding the best technology. Never was about the best technology. It's actually just what strategies to get people to adopt technology they might already have. So that's, I don't know, that's the biggest challenge for big business.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It's the implementation. Perfect. And then the sales call analyzer tools are remarkable. What's coming down the pipeline, where you have the 24/7, as a sales manager or a leader, to take every single one. If you have 5 sales guys all on, so let's just say 3 calls a day, at the end of the day, to review every call, group them together, see their trends, say this guy builds great rapport but can't close the door on anybody. This guy, misses the rapport but ends up closing. Here's what they're doing wrong. It takes not necessarily replacing jobs, but to a certain extent, yes. But then just making everybody's job more efficient, getting more out of that person, that's going to embrace AI and use it versus, or just companies in general, embracing AI and using it, but using it in steps and stages, and using it correctly, obviously, is most important. I know we've kind of touched on this, but in your experience, are there any kind of like key defining factors in like a business that succeeds with AI or a business that doesn't, outside of kind of setting up a game plan? But is it, I don't know, anything that stands out at you as businesses that fail versus succeed when implementing or using AI?
I'd say I mentioned to you before, like before you hit the record button, offhand, that a lot of people don't even know what they don't have a vision for what to do with AI. So you either need to pay for like an intro period where someone just like goes into your company and then identifies this stuff for you and does like a big deep dive. That either needs to be done, or you need to have someone with good vision that has enough understanding of AI and that's a leader that can actually point the AI specialist in the right direction and do the things that, I don't know, that will actually bring some sort of ROI. That's lowest hanging fruit right there. But I'd say the biggest challenge that I've seen for most companies, because not many actually succeed with it, is they try to do too much. Once again, like, go figure. Same with Omnichannel. They do too much. They're not managing it well enough. This is the same reason why new employees sometimes fail. They don't give enough time with interpersonal chats. You need to actually, if you're going to have AI do some really good stuff inside of a department, then you better have someone in that department who's, they've cut out time every week to work with that person. So I'd say oftentimes the AI specialist is left on an island, and it's really hard to get a hold of whoever it is. So just expect, if you're trying to involve AI, you need to get involved. You don't have to be the expert.
You need to get buy-in. So whether it's from the from the CEO themselves, but it's not just, hey, the CEO, hey, HR department, we're going to start using these AI tools. You need to use it. You need to get somebody within that department to buy in and be a stakeholder and be invested as well. Because
you bring up that reminds me. It's not just buy-in. It's there need to be repercussions of and expectations set of. Okay, I have so many friends that are, I don't know, 15, 20 years older than me. And I feel like as soon as someone hits about 55, definitely 60, my mom's friends are like, they all fit in this. There's a certain age where you just don't want to adapt. And they're senior level, and it's pulling teeth to get them to do it. They have their way of doing things. They don't want to do it. Entire movies are based off of this. So I'd say that, like, all right, I don't want to scare people away. It's just that, look, you need, as a business owner, if there isn't some reason, no one's pushing them to do it, they're not going to do it unless it's stupid simple. Even stupid simple, people won't do it. So there's got to be something. That's been my big personal frustration is people can be all gung-ho, but there's nothing that actually puts their feet to the fire and forces people to use it and adapt, or like a concerted effort to have a ongoing training program that gets people used to it. So just building the tool is one thing. If you have training ongoing, really make sure you're investing time and your team's time. And that's the only way this is going to be successful.
Yeah, and money, and then obviously future engagement and future business. There's a lot on the line when implementing these tools and doing it correctly.
My gosh, yeah, it's wild how many people do it poorly.
Yeah, exactly.
That one company that promised is the chatbot that promised a guy a car for $1, and then in court it held up. I don't know if you heard that story back in it was right when GPT-3 or 3.5 came out. And some early adopter auto dealership the AI. The guy got the AI to say, yeah, $1 and it's yours, and it was binding.
Really? That's interesting. I did not hear that one, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure obviously you got to be careful, and there's a lot that's going to happen with even with within the healthcare niches, and PII and HIPAA, and
Oh my gosh.
there's a lot happening in that space as well with AI, and somebody gives personal information, is it going out to the open internet? Is it a closed system? I mean, there's a lot to transpire over the next several years, but then again, with all that happening, a lot of opportunities and a lot of changes are going to happen, incorporating AI, but doing it correctly and ethically, and following all the rules.
Yeah.
You're definitely somebody that I'd love to have back on the show. This is we could probably sit here and talk about AI and geek out over this for hours on end.
Of course.
Try to wrap it up and do a little shorter podcast, not the Joe Rogan style. But as we wrap it up here, any last minute tips or tricks, or is there one where you mentioned a couple communities or school groups that you have? Where would how would they?
Yeah, I'll give you the school groups, and I'll tell the one thing that someone can immediately do first. So one thing that everyone should be doing, at least that's like a manager or director, probably a director level, they need to be aware. Everyone needs to be at least an expert at that level on how to prompt, because you can solve so many problems that used to require an outside consultant. Conversion API setup. That's a great example. All right, well, we have a Google Analytics person, we have a GTM guy, but they've never set that up. You have no excuses if you're in that role. You have enough technical lingo. You should be able to rather quickly create a guide with AI to solve that problem. That's what people should be learning how to prompt, because ultimately the secret to AI agents, which is the next wave, it's largely just prompts. That's it. It's just prompting. The technical infrastructure is being simplified. The prompts are the sauce. So get good at it. Start using it. As for my school group, it's just school, SKOOL.com/masterclass marketing. And then the other one is /AI agent vibe engineers, I think is what the URL slug is. But yeah, if you want to learn, you can hit me up there, or get AI strategy. You can schedule a call with me. Happy to help you out. But I love helping people. I have a community because I just want to help people. I don't really. One of them's free and one of them's dirt cheap. So I'm not doing it for money. Just doing it because I like to help.
Well, perfect. I know I engaged with him. I think it's on one of the social media platforms. You post quite a bit on there, but it's really good stuff. Really simple to understand. And if anybody, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel here. Find us on social media as well, and jump on and follow. Thank you again, Andrew, for jumping on. We'll have to have you back here in the following months and see what's new and transpiring, and see if some of these kind of predictions on where things are going comes true. So appreciate you being here, and thank you everybody for watching, and stay tuned for another episode in the next couple of days here. Take care.